Hello everyone, James here, and today we'll be talking about episode 6 of 90 Day Fiance's Hunt for Love. In this episode, Cole finally finds out that Jennifer's been playing him this whole time and has been sleeping with Rob behind his back. Cole then goes to confront Rob about this deceit and treachery, not Jennifer, the person that's actually lied to him. And later, all hell breaks loose when Jennifer is called out by the entire rest of the cast for being the two-timing snake she is.
Why is Rob? I'm not Rob. Yeah, okay. Who you then?
Lots of very juicy and very funny scenes to talk about today, so let's get into it. The episode starts off right in the middle of the date between Cole and Jennifer we saw at the end of last episode. To catch you up in case you forgot, Jennifer was one of 4 winners of some dating games we saw at the end of last episode, and her reward for winning was a free bottle of champagne and the ability to share that bottle on a date with anyone in the cast. She was on a winning team with Rob at the time, and the two of them have been vibing pretty well together, as evidenced by the fact we saw them hooking up 2 episodes ago. But in a surprise turn of events, she actually picked Cole to share this bottle with instead of Rob. The date so far has been pretty lackluster, with Cole having spent the entire date, from what we've seen, complaining about Rob and voicing how scared he is about the idea of ever having to see Rob and Jennifer kiss.
Good decision not kissing Rob in front of me.
Kind of weird having this opportunity to be on a date with this person you like and spending the entire date talking about how jealous you are of another guy. Don't know if that's really the best use of your time here. While Jennifer, on the other hand, spent the whole date completely glazing Cole, telling him how great he is, how she's only interested in him, all the while conveniently leaving out the fact she hooked up with Rob the day before, and directly lying to his face, telling Cole that she and Rob have never even kissed. Episode 6 continues where the date left off. We see Cole share his frustration that Chantel was the first one to kiss Jennifer and that honor couldn't be his, while Jennifer says again, for no good reason, that kiss with Chantel was indeed her first kiss at the retreat, which we know to be not true. But after this amazing and emotionally impactful date has reached its conclusion, Cole then asks Jennifer for a kiss. And then, finally, after 6 whole episodes of build-up, the two of them share their first kiss. And oh my god, it's weird. Listen, I don't care about anyone's kissing skills or dissecting kissing scenes. I don't give a shit about that, never have. But something about this one in particular, I don't know if Cole's just never kissed someone before, or if they just have absolutely zero emotional connection at this point, but kind of looks like he just opens his mouth to smear his lips against a wall, and then just sits there unmoving like while she attempts to try to kiss him. I don't know, this just felt very strange to me. I know this kind of seems like nothing, and like, why am I even bringing it up? But I honestly think their lack of chemistry here may actually be the key to helping us understand his motivations. But we'll talk about that later. We see the rest of the cast enjoying themselves at a bar for the night. People are drinking and having fun. We see Colt approach Cortney, and Colt actually confesses his feelings to her a little bit. That was pretty cool to see. I want to make a video one of these days on the whole Colt, Usman, and Cortney love triangle. That's been really interesting to watch. So keep your eyes open for that. But for now, the cast enjoy themselves, they go back to their respective rooms. Usman to his room, Colt and Cortney go back to Colt's room, when suddenly the show cuts to Jennifer's room, and in her room, we see Jennifer and Cole getting each other naked, when finally, at the climax of their night, we see a raccoon. That's a raccoon in there! Honestly, I wish we saw more of the raccoon. I don't know how the two of them didn't notice that. But the two of them hook up, presumably, they go to bed, and the next day, the cast is having a workout session at the beach. The cast is working out with their makeshift weights. Colt tries to teach Chantel how to use some of the machines, but kind of ends up looking like a fool in the process.
You just kind
Usman tries brazenly showing off to Nikki, one of the normies, with how strong he is, by repeatedly doing bicep curls and shoulder presses while making awkward eye contact with her.
5, 6, 7.
It's the eye contact for me.
And now that everyone's got their sweat on, it's time to spill the tea. Chantel and Joe join Tiffany, Elise, and Colt as the 5 of them discuss various rumors they've heard throughout the resort. And it's this conversation where the truth about Jennifer's games finally come out. Elise tells us that people have been coming up to her telling her that they've been hearing her and Rob have sex. And they believe that because they've heard Rob's voice accompanied by sex sounds with a woman. Only issue with that is, as Elise points out, Elise and Rob have never had sex. They've never hooked up, so whoever Rob is having sex with, it's not Elise. But it gets more complicated. Tiffany tells us that she also heard sex noises that night between Rob and another woman, and that those noises came from the pool next door, which up until this point, she always thought was Rob's room. However, as she recently found out, that's not Rob's room next door with the pool, that's actually Jennifer's room.
which means Rob was the visitor, and the girl we heard was Jeniffer.
So, multiple people have heard Rob having sex with some woman, and now we've been able to place that these noises came from Jennifer's room. This seems pretty cut and dry. However, this goes against everything Jennifer's been saying, telling everyone, including Cole, that nothing has happened between her and Rob. You with me so far? Great, because now I gotta take a big time out and get a little meta here for you. Because there's a popular theory going around the internet right now, I believe coming from the content creator Kibbles, suggesting that that sex scene between Rob and Jennifer may have been fake. Or more specifically, that the hookup was real. I mean, we saw it, they were naked. But that scene may have come from somewhere else in the timeline of the show and was only placed there by the producers to make things seem more dramatic. Kibbles' reasoning for that in their video on the topic was that both Rob and Jennifer were wearing different clothes when they were at Rob's room versus later when they were hooking up in Jennifer's room. And they noticed that in the Between the Sheets episode that they show after the normal episode, where the show will play various clips of the episode to the cast members later on so that the cast members can react to the scenes and give some more behind the scenes. Kibbles noticed that that hookup scene was omitted from the Between the Sheets episode. And they found that pretty suspicious, because now we don't get the behind the scenes and don't get to hear what really happened. Now, of course, I wasn't there. I don't know if this theory is correct or not. However, personally, I don't know if I believe that yet. With something as crazy and salacious as two people secretly hooking up that has a cascading domino effect on a complicated love triangle, I could understand why the producers may want to leave that out and keep that suspense for future episodes. And when it comes to the outfit change, although that is a good observation from Kibbles, I also think it's completely feasible that they just change the clothes. Maybe before they leave Rob's room to go to Jennifer's room, Jennifer insists on going back to her place first to freshen up. Maybe she had to take a shit, I don't know. And tells Rob to meet her at her place in 10 minutes and bring your swim trunks. Or maybe before they left Rob's room together, Jennifer said, hey, bring your swim trunks, we can go in the hot tub. And then she just changed into a swimsuit when she was in her room. So I think there are other explanations that could explain the change in outfits. Okay, back to the show. Elise is upset because people assume she's been sleeping with Cole when she did no such thing. Colt gets really upset over Elise's situation, saying everyone else is slandering and defaming her good name and how that's BS. Frankly, Colt's anger here seems a little confusing to me, but we'll see more of that later. Tiffany thinks this whole situation is fucked up and suspects that Jennifer might be playing both guys and telling them both the same lies. And then she goes on this long rant about Rob and Cole.
If you see someone likes you that much and you're not going to take them seriously, and then you want to be with the boy who was flying around since day one versus the guy who genuinely cares about you, say it.
And I'm genuinely confused which one she's talking about here. When I say this out loud now, it seems obvious to me that she thinks Cole is the nice guy who's genuinely interested and likes her, and Rob is the F-boy that's been messing around since day one. But I promise you, the first time I heard her say that, I genuinely thought she thought Rob was the guy who's casually actually interested in her and is having a more genuine vibe, whereas Cole has been this kind of lying playboy who's not genuinely interested in her and is only playing some dumb game to win her over. I really thought that. Just kind of funny how we can both perceive this situation the exact opposite. However, at the end of Tiffany's rant, who else starts approaching them but Cole?
Oh, there he is.
Has Cole ever walked on sand in his life? After a brief commercial break, Cole finally arrives to the group, and we hear from each of the cast that basically everyone, I think except Chantel, I don't think she really cares, but everyone else agrees Cole has to know the truth. The group sets Cole down. Carlo, one of Tiffany's love interests that was with her at the time when they heard Rob having sex with some woman coming from Jennifer's room, tells Cole what they heard.
I was by the pool, so I heard her in the pool with Rob.
Cole says, oh, you heard the two of them? Did you hear what they were talking about? If they were having a good time? Did you hear them having sex? And Tiffany says straight up.
Did you hear his sex sounds?
Yeah.
Elise gives Cole the pity card, saying, oh my god, I feel so bad for you, you don't deserve this. Carlo says Jennifer's a snake and Rob's a scumbag. Tiffany and Colt, not Cole, hype up Cole, tell him that he's this great guy, he didn't deserve any of this.
You are good. You gave her the benefit of the doubt.
You're a good guy.
You're so good, you're the best. I don't know why everyone is taking such strong sides. Like Rob and Jennifer are both evil and Cole is this innocent victim. But we'll talk about that in a minute. And finally, we get to hear from Cole himself. He says that he believes Rob and Jen are entertaining each other in some way, and that there may be some kind of attraction there, but
based on personal interactions with Jen and the personal discussions that we've had, I don't think they have it yet.
So let me get this straight. You have all of these people that don't have any personal vested interest in this, all telling you that they heard sex noises, they heard Rob's voice, they heard it coming from Jennifer's room, I heard it, he heard it, everyone here is talking about some sex that happened. And this whole thing supposedly occurred the same night you had an argument with this person where Jennifer flipped on him and immediately got all cuddly with Rob right in front of him. When they're on the bus together talking about getting each other naked, he hears all these people say that they went back and had sex that night. And Cole doesn't believe that because why? Because he has this much blind faith in a person he met 4 or 5 days ago? How do you have all of that circumstantial evidence and still pick the word of someone you just met who, by the way, flipped on him in public? This isn't an amazing, truthful, committed partner he just found 5 days ago. This was someone he was vibing with, and the second he did something she didn't like, she immediately pushed him aside and started overtly flirting and getting physical with his romantic rival right in front of him. And that's the person you're gonna believe on this situation? Have they not already in the short time demonstrated that they would be the kind of person to do this to you? What is this guy thinking? Is this guy really such a simp? So obsessed and unreasonably committed to this stranger that he's willing to overlook all of this just because this queen of a woman could do no wrong? I'm not even mad or trying to make fun of him for this at this point. Like, this is honestly just surprising and kind of sad from him. And yet, right after saying all that, he says this.
Maybe she really does want me to just chase her because she feeds off of that attention. Is that all it is? Am I overthinking this? I don't know.
So he's able to recognize that Jennifer is willing to breadcrumb people and enjoys feeding off their desperate attention towards her, but simultaneously believes she didn't hook up with Rob. Man, the cognitive dissonance here is amazing. Cole then asks the group if he should go and confront Rob with this information, and for some reason, the entire group agrees.
Do you think it's worth me approaching him and having a conversation with him?
100%.
We need to find out.
I don't know why no one's suggesting he go approach Jennifer with this information, considering she's the one he has a relationship with, and she's the one that's playing him, not Rob. And we even hear from Colt, of all people, in a one-on-one tell us that he sees right through all Jennifer's bullshit.
There's something about her that just connects with Cole on some level that he's just blinded by it. And going between Cole and Rob, I see Jen as someone that preys on men.
And despite Tiffany trying to tell Cole again, in no uncertain language,
You're getting laid like a toy.
Cole is still holding on, telling them, it sounds like you guys are telling me what you've heard from your third-person perspectives. And I'm glad you've shared your observations with me. However, I think everyone has their opinion on what happened the other night. And I'm aware that I probably look like I'm getting ran over right now. And I probably am. I'm aware of that public perception of me.
I'm just getting ran all over right now, and I probably am, and I'm aware of that. I'm not stupid.
But says that there are still a couple questions he needs answered before he can make a final decision on this. Which, as much as I want to make fun of him for that, I actually think is somewhat reasonable. I do think it's pretty reasonable to hear all this circumstantial evidence, but still withhold making a final judgment until you hear something more directly from the horse's mouth. So I do think he's being a little reasonable here. But what's not reasonable to me is Cole then gets up, walks back on the sand like he's never done it before, and beelines immediately to Rob's room to confront him.
Yo, hey bro, we need to talk. You got some time? Mind if I come in?
And this absolutely terrible yet hilarious conversation ensues. Cole starts off by playing coy.
I'm sure you can guess why I'm here.
Probably has to do with Jen.
Yeah, any guesses as to why or what to do with Jen?
You already know this is going to be annoying. You know, something I've noticed now when Cole gets into this kind of controlling, condescending mode is he kind of sounds like a disapproving dad. He did the same thing when he was talking to Tim and Chantel a few episodes ago.
Yeah. Here's the thing, right? Let me ask you a second.
44.
44, right?
Right.
You have life experience.
Can I tell you something?
You've been through
I feel like it was. I feel like
That cool, calm, collected thing where I said he almost seemed like he was trying to appear like the most in control masculine adult in the room, when in reality, it kind of seemed like he was talking down and condescending. I feel like that's a dad thing. Like, who actually says, I'm sure you can guess why I'm here today? Do you have any guesses why you're in the principal's office? Like, you know what I mean? That's not really a way that people on the same level talk to each other. It feels very punitive and judgmental from Cole. Maybe not the biggest deal that someone is acting like kind of an asshole when they're upset, but given the pattern here and the fact that this has to do with his emotional attachment issues, it does kind of make me think that perhaps he's adapted or learned a somewhat toxic, controlling, masculine attitude possibly from his dad. I actually suspect that maybe his dad was kind of a piece of shit or may have been abusive to women in his life, and that Cole maybe grew up seeing that and really didn't like that and didn't want to be like him. So instead of being the aggressive, loud, physical type, Instead, he internalizes some of those masculine messages about control and dominance, but manifests that in this pseudo-healthy, we're gonna talk about our feelings and you tell me when you're upset and I'll tell you when I'm upset kind of mentality, when it's pretty clear just watching him, at least the character, that he has some pretty severe attachment issues and doesn't seem to handle that well. Maybe I'm getting a little too armchair psychologist here, but I've actually been thinking about it for a few episodes now, so just wanted to bring that up. And with that in mind, listen to his response here. Rob attempts to answer his question and essentially says, well, from my perspective, I didn't think we had any reason to talk to each other. And this is Cole's response.
There's anything that needs to be said between us. Right, I thought the same thing, but here we are, right? Yeah, and you're a smart guy. I'm not going to put that past you, so I think you know why I'm here.
You see what I mean about the condescension? I didn't think so either, but here we are. Yeah. And you're a smart guy. Like, why are you talking like this? Why are you beating around the bush? Are you trying to intimidate Rob? Are you trying to subtly threaten him? Like, just get to the point. Cole then perfectly describes why I think it's stupid of him to talk to Rob right now instead of Jennifer by telling Rob that he told Jen that Jen's allowed to date whoever she wants, just be honest with me.
Just be open about it. And so when I hear about what happened at her place 2 nights or 3 nights ago, that hurts.
Yeah, I totally agree. That would hurt my feelings too. Sounds like you should tell Jennifer that. He's literally telling Rob that he made a request to Jen that she didn't honor and that hurt his feelings. Okay, yeah, great. Go talk to Jennifer about it. Why are we here in Rob's room?
That hurts. Okay. And then I feel like you're being disrespectful because you're not open about it.
I don't know if this is a hot take or something, but I don't think Rob owes Cole anything. Rob and Cole each have their own independent relationship with Jennifer. They don't have a relationship with each other. Rob doesn't have to tell Cole anything about his own relationship with Jennifer. That's just none of Cole's business. And honestly, I feel like the fact Cole thinks it's his business, or can even interpret Rob's silence about his own relationship with Jennifer as a sign of disrespect towards Cole, sounds a lot like entitled thinking to me. It kind of feels like he sees himself as the main character with Jennifer, like he's the protagonist, and that everyone else is ultimately supposed to support and not get in the way of his pursuit of her. And I think pursuit is absolutely the right way to describe it, because I've never gotten the impression that Cole and Jennifer are actually compatible as human beings. It doesn't seem like Cole is even completely aware of that concept. It really seems like he's just pursuing a girl that he perceives as high value, and perhaps the act of achieving this goal gives him some sense of accomplishment or approval of his masculinity. And because he's on this noble pursuit, if anyone else is even kind of in his way, he perceives them as a rival that he needs to beat. It's the same kind of attitude we saw on the bus a few episodes ago, when Jennifer asked Rob to sit next to her, and instead of Cole having an issue with Jennifer, he then picks a fight with Rob, telling him to get the F out of the seat.
Come here.
Me?
Yeah.
All right, I'll sit. Dude, if you sit in that chair, that's trauma right there, man. Can you do me a favor and get the out of the seat?
Problem was clearly with Jennifer. Jennifer is the driver of this situation here, but Cole completely bypasses Jennifer's autonomy and attacks Rob instead. I think that's the same thing we're seeing here, and is yet another example of how he's not really seeing Jennifer as an independent woman he could have a cooperative mutual relationship with, and instead sees her as an object to win and Rob as an obstacle in his way. And remember when I said earlier in the video that their complete lack of chemistry in that kiss might be a sign of his motivations? This is what I was talking about. Because it makes sense to me that if someone is ultimately after the pursuit of an idea of a person, rather than the person as an actual human being and their emotional compatibility, then it makes sense for there to be no visible chemistry. And I think we might be able to see that in something like a kiss.
And then I feel like you're being disrespectful because you're not open about it.
Rob similarly doesn't understand how this is disrespectful to Cole, and tries to give Cole some advice by saying that maybe you should try to be a little less demanding of her. But of course, Cole disagrees.
Demanding of her,
That's the thing, I'm not demanding of her. All I said, talk to me, right? That's a simple request.
I mean, yeah, I guess. I'm in no way defending Jennifer, she did lie, but you didn't just ask her to communicate with you. You also asked her to have a certain amount of emotional commitment to you, demanded she decide on day 2 whether or not she was your woman or Rob's woman.
Are you my woman or Rob's woman?
And have been operating with this subtle assumption that for her to even entertain whatever growing situationship the two of them have, she must play by all of his rules on his timeline and always consider him before doing anything else. Cole feels like the kind of guy to tell his girlfriend she can wear whatever she wants, just so long as she asks him first. Guys that present themselves as really open and promoting women's independence on the surface, but deep down still have some kind of need to be in control.
And I don't know where you're at, but from my perspective, it looks like you just got a divorce, and you're coming over here trying to heal those traumas with somebody who's also messed up.
Whoa there, buddy. Do you think Jeniffer would appreciate you describing her as messed up right now? Did she tell you herself she was messed up? Or are you just projecting that and you're looking for someone to save? Because it sure sounds to me that's the simpy, white knight in shining armor guy who's completely head over heels for someone he doesn't know. Sure seems to me like that might be a guy trying to project his own hurt feelings and his own pathological need to save a hoe onto the situation here, not Rob. Also, is Cole really gonna jump to that entire healing yourself through someone else conclusion because he just found out 2 hours ago that Rob's going through a divorce? Yes, I am aware of the irony of me literally being an armchair psychologist, trying to psychoanalyze everything about Cole and what he's doing, but I have a YouTube channel, damn it. I'm supposed to act arrogant like I know everything, okay? That's my job.
And it's embarrassing to me. You're steamrolling me, and I'm not going to let it happen anymore.
Steamrolling you.
Yeah.
Who's embarrassing and steamrolling you right now, Colt? That's Jeniffer. Jeniffer is the one breadcrumbing you right now, saying she's only into you while sleeping with Rob behind your back. That's Jeniffer. It would only be a sense of betrayal if Rob already had some kind of relationship with you where you could reasonably expect that he should be honest with you about these things. But you guys are strangers, and rivals at that. You made sure to make it that way. In fact, if Cole actually approached Rob from the beginning as a normal human being and wasn't so macho and territorial over the female, he and Rob might have even developed some kind of bros before hoes bro code, and Cole could have avoided all this embarrassment. But he didn't. He chose to make Rob his arch enemy for no real reason, and it's his own attitude that's created this situation. Cole then finally stops beating around the bush and says directly,
Some people seem to think that there was some, if you want to call them, sex noises.
he says, no, I'd be surprised if you actually admitted the truth about you guys having sex.
But I'll put that out there if you want to talk about that, what those noises were.
Again, with that condescension. See what I mean with that talking like a dad thing? Rob avoids answering the question, saying, I don't know about no noises, but I know it's perfectly legal to just hang out with someone. When finally, Cole cuts straight to the point and asks Rob directly,
Did you guys hook up?
After a tense stare down, Rob surprisingly says, no, we did not hook up,
I can a million times tell you that we did not hook up.
as the show rudely plays a montage of Rob and Jeniffer hooking up. And Cole tries catching him in a lie by saying this.
I don't like to defend myself against.
If you feel that way, why aren't you? If you feel that way, why aren't you out there with us, right? Hanging out with us. Why are you secluded over here?
If you're telling the truth about not sleeping with Jen, then why are you in this room this Saturday morning? Like, what does that have to do with anything? That was a pretty stupid question, but surprisingly, Cole actually doubles down on this.
Why are you secluded over here?
Oh, I just like to be alone.
I like to be alone too, man, but I didn't come here to be alone.
Okay, so what? What are you trying to say here, my guy? You're really gonna try to implicate Rob in a lie because he's hanging out in his room? That's your big evidence against him? Like, do you not realize how stupid you sound right now, Cole? Listen, I've said a lot of negative things about this guy, but I'm honestly not even trying to be mean right here. This is legitimately a really stupid argument to make. And the fact that Cole has the confidence to give him the fake relatable laugh, as if there's any way that makes Cole look less stupid. I'm not even trying to be mean here. This guy is interesting. That's all I can say. But by the end, Cole does start redeeming himself a bit. Because he tells Rob, it's not even that I have a problem with you and her dating. It's not even that you two might have had sex. Obviously, that would hurt my feelings to know. But it's the feeling like this is happening behind my back. And he says that really hurts because he feels like he's on the fishing hook of Jennifer's rod. And he's being vulnerable with her and giving her a lot of opportunity to hurt him.
Being vulnerable and giving her all of my deepest secrets and what hurts me most.
Yeah.
And she's just crushing that in her hands. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I actually agree with you, Cole. It does seem like you're on her hook. She's baited you. She's got you as a carrot on a stick. She's reeling you in. This is exactly what I've said for 3 videos now. And he even says,
I barely know how she feels about me because I feel like everything she tells me is a lie.
yeah, I think you're absolutely right, Cole. And I hope that throughout this little therapy session he just had, where he's openly admitting to Rob, the person he came in hating, that he feels like he's getting played and that Jeniffer is crushing his heart, that maybe he then realizes that the enemy here isn't Rob. It's Jeniffer. It's Jeniffer. You just said that everything Jeniffer tells you is a lie, that she's crushing your heart and your spirit. Does that not clue you in, Cole? That maybe the problem isn't with Rob. If you feel lied and jerked around and like something's happening behind your back, that's because it is. It is. I'm telling you right now. That's Jeniffer. But before the scene ends, we see Cole share his feelings in a one-on-one, and he says things like he's not sure if Rob and Jennifer are colluding together to lie about everything, but that he ultimately thinks Rob will persist and will continue to pursue what he wants. Again, a very telling way for Cole to describe this situation. But as this goes on, the harder and harder it'll be for him to be okay with the situation. The last statement is a little ambiguous, but considering how long he talked about Rob in that one-on-one, that kind of suggests to me that Cole hasn't quite gotten there yet and made that final step in realizing that the ultimate problem is Jennifer. Very interesting to me that he can't quite get there. But although Calmer wasn't quite delivered that scene, we do have one final scene to talk about, and it does make me feel a little better. Most of the cast members get together for a social media seminar where apparently the dating coaches have done a deep dive on everyone's social media accounts and plan to show a lot of these pictures to the rest of the crowd to determine if the way we present ourselves in social media aligns with who we are in real life. In other words, Darcy and Stacy's worst nightmare. Tim volunteers to be the first guinea pig of this experiment, believing he has nothing to hide, and as they scroll through the pictures, it seems like most of the cast agrees. That's just Tim being Tim, wearing his flamboyant outfits in various places he's visited. Nothing too much to say. But of course, if you've been paying attention by now, you know that Jennifer has some things to say. She talks for literally 30 whole seconds in a one-on-one, calling him a poser. He's just trying to portray himself as something he's not. He has no sense of fashion or style. He's a loser.
He has definitely no sense of fashion or style. It's just like the complete opposite. Like he's trying so hard to be cool that he's not cool at all.
Honestly, what a nasty person Jennifer is. And honestly, the pictures look pretty normal to me. Tim has an eclectic fashion sense. That looked like that's just what he's into. That didn't even look like a poser to me. So ironic that she's calling him a tryhard when really, between the two of them, seems a lot more like Jennifer is the one trying really hard to be the cool, successful one by putting Tim down all the time. Seems like she's the one that cares a lot more. After Tim, the next subject of scrutiny is Rob. He's got some shirtless pics with some abs, he's got some of his model headshots, and after they've shown the pictures, the coaches then ask the crowd what they think about the presentation. Do they feel like that accurately represents Rob the way you know him today? And people have some pretty mixed opinions. The first person to chime up is Jennifer, who says this.
There's nothing more than the fact that he was looking gorgeous in them.
Yeah.
Really, why say that right now? Why say that right in front of Cole? Remember, she was into Cole. Cole then was an ass. She immediately got really into Rob. Supposedly, they then hooked up. She then ditched Rob and went with Cole on a date, and according to the show, hooked up with him that night. And now, the next day, she's talking about how hot and gorgeous Rob is right in front of Cole. We seen the pattern here? And she has even more to say later.
I mean, I think that he looks super sexy, but you really can see how depth he has.
There's a 0% chance that was an authentic comment. That is not something Jennifer would just randomly say off the top of her head. That is only said by her to make Cole jealous here. That's the only reason as far as I'm concerned. And unfortunately for Jennifer, it seemed like that comment flew a little too close to the sun. Because now Elise gets involved and spills the beans.
You were with him, had a little sleepover or something went down. Does he still look like that?
Oof. Good one, Elise. She then tries deflecting onto Elise, saying, well, I wouldn't know, but I heard you were the first one to tell. You tell me, Elise, since you hooked up with him.
No, I haven't, girl.
You were the first one.
Which is just really stupid. Jennifer probably knows that's a complete lie and is trying to take advantage of the rumors she's probably heard that Rob and Elise got together when she knows that's not true. You can also see it in Jennifer's face here, that she's smiling and honestly looks like she's having a good time here. Rob then gets involved, saying that people just like making stuff up and seemingly trying to defuse the whole situation. But then a fourth character enters this rumble, and that is Colt of all people.
He never gave me his
I'm watching her for a fool. What's that about? I think you're coming up with bull. I think you're full of bull. You won't admit that you're getting the fool.
I'm confused, the cast is confused, the dating coaches are confused. Nobody really understands what Colt is doing right here. Jennifer then pretends to de-escalate the situation, being like, okay, everybody, let's just simmer down. But you can see on her face, she loves this shit. Colt seems to be saying, how dare you accidentally involve Elise in this and slander her name?
Slandered here. Good person.
What
okay.
I'm a good person.
So Colt's standing up for Elise, trying to say, how dare you sully her name, when Jennifer then decides to say,
That doesn't change the fact that she threw herself to him.
what is Jennifer doing here? In the middle of this discussion on whether or not Elise is being dragged into this false rumor allegation thing, Jennifer has to throw in there, doesn't change the fact that she acted like a total hoe towards him. Like, well, what are you doing? Didn't you just try to de-escalate the situation? What are you doing now stirring more shit? Now you're justifying the false rumor against Elise. And now victim blaming her for this? Like, what? Just shut the fuck up, Jeniffer. Colt asks Jeniffer directly, why are you fucking Rob? To which she responds with childhood mockery.
Why are you Rob? Yeah, okay. Who you then?
Meanwhile, Cole's in the middle of this, looking like he would rather be anywhere else in the universe than here right now. And the episode ends with Jeniffer, again, getting even worse, mocking Colt even more about being a loser.
Is it Cole?
I get jealous because you have no interaction with anybody here.
Oh man, beating a dead horse at this point, but that face she has, with that tone of voice, mocking Colt, like, she's just, If you've watched my videos, you know I get annoyed with people, I get fed up with people. I think people have a pattern of reacting to certain emotional situations extremely poorly, but very rarely do I get the impression from someone that they're just a nasty human being the way Jeniffer is. Maybe she's just really good at playing up for the camera. Again, I don't know who she is or what she's like in person. Maybe we might even get along, and who knows, but whatever she's doing on screen, she's extremely effective at making me dislike her. Anyway, that's all I got for today's video. Let me know what you thought about Jeniffer, Cole, and Rob in the comments down below. Just remember again that we really only know the characters these people are playing on screen, not necessarily the real life people, so keep it nice as you can. And let me know what you thought about these people. It's been very entertaining for me to read everyone's opinions. A big thank you to all of you channel members, with an extra special thank you to my producer, Nancy Jones. And until next time, I'll see you later.